All right, it says we are live, and the Thingomatic just cranked out another print. Sorry if things are a little bit last minute here, but decided I was going to take a little time to do a little bit of designing. And there's the coin, looking good. Protopasta copper filament. It's nice. So here's what's up. Let me get the Thingomatic shut down. So in advance of Maker Faire, in my spare time, I'm trying to pretty much crank out designs of stuff that I know I'm going to need for the fair ahead of time, because Maker Faire falls like right during finals, and I just had a batch of tests. So I'm kind of like in that dead time between when classes start up again for me on Tuesday and the dead time after I had the test. So I figured now is a really good time to focus on getting a lot of design and production work done. So one of the things I'm going to be working on is this. It's a 12,000 milliamp hour external battery pack that I picked up off Amazon, and it's pretty nice. It gets the job done. But the problem is it's so big, it won't fit into my pants pocket comfortably. So a little bit like what I did with the Tascam belt holster that I'm working on, that I posted up some photos of. This was a failed test print, but you can see it has the belt holster right there, so you can slide your belt in. Works really well. So the idea is we're going to do the same for the battery pack. We're going to make a belt holster for it, so I can wear it on my side. Okay, we'll pretend this is my pants on the outside. I can wear it on my side, and if I need to plug anything in, I can do so. I don't have to finagle this. I can do a pocket and have wires hanging out. Don't want to have to deal with that, so that's what I'm going to be working on. So the first thing that you need to do when designing anything is obviously get the dimensions of it. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that right now. So let's see. I've got my trusty calipers here and a pencil. Do. Perfect. So first things first, I need to know the width of this, which is, let's say, 0.625 inches. And then this dimension is 2.925. And then in the third dimension, it is, oh wow, maxes my calipers out. I'm going to say 6.05 inches. And these dimensions don't have to be perfect, as the print is going to be completed in NGen Flex. So it has a little bit of give to it, but I don't want to make it so that way it's like impossible to pull the battery pack in and out. And one other thing that I'm thinking of doing to make it easier is on the holster is actually making a little indentation on probably one side. So that way I can kind of get some traction on the battery pack to pull it out easier, as well as probably putting a small vent hole or two in the bottom. So when you stick the holder in there, we're going to pull it out, you don't have that suction effect created, which makes it really, really hard to pull things in and out. So now let me just fire up the stream on my phone here so I can see if the screen share is working, and also get chat going as well, because I sadly cannot view chat and run this at the same time. Wish I could, but I can't. So bear with me on that, guys. Chat up. Okay, so let's fire up the wonderfully buggy screen share. Now let the application window in Fusion. Share that. Let's see if it's working. Give it like the requisite 10 or 15 seconds that it takes. Come on. Yay, it's working. Oh, perfect. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to use a center rectangle That's like my go-to. I'm just going to use this plane. Now, this is the beauty of designing up in Fusion is things like the center rectangle. So I'm going to do 2.925 inches. Whoops, I was supposed to be 0.65. I am not awake today. Perfect. So I've just drawn up that shape there. And then before I go any further, there are some fillets on the corner here. I have absolutely no way to precisely measure what they are, but I'm just going to sketch in a, like a, yeah, 0.2 looks good. Just throw fillets on all the corners. The reason why I'm doing the fillets now is I want them to be equidistant from the edge. So that way when I go to do the print, it makes my life that much easier. And 2, okay, perfect. So then I'm going to offset that whole chain minus 0.08, or very, very, very close to 2 millimeters. The slicing software I found does not even care. Oh, forgot to put the vent hole in, like I said. Actually, I'll do 3 of them. 1/4 of an inch. Angular pattern, that direction, spacing. Oh, we'll just see. Symmetric. 0.75. 1. Yeah, we'll do that. Perfect. And like I said, the whole point behind the vent holes is just to make it easier to take this in and out. And if it really got stuck in there, I could always take the eraser end of a pencil or something soft like that and push the battery pack out without any issues. So I'm going to extend this up 0.08 inches and turn on my previous sketch. Call this guy up 0.08 plus 6.05 inches. Join, shut that guy down. And just like that, we've effectively created the basic shape here of the model. So let me be smart and say this. Did I make a fair folder yet? I remember if I do. I don't know, I'll save it under here. As an external battery pack holder belt addition. Now, if you wanted to use this as a protective case as is, you are totally welcome to. And I'm actually thinking, you know what? Let me just, while I'm at it, make a copy of this. So I've got that just in case that's what somebody wants. So one thing I really like to do is label my models. So otherwise I'm like, oh, is that model and how is it there? So this one is the main body sleeve. And this guy will be the main body belt slide on. So I figured just to make it, you know, more interesting, why not design a couple while we're at it. So I just remembered, like I said, I was going to put that circle in there to make it easier to take on and off into a 1-inch circle. I'm going to trim it, and I'm going to draw a line, exit, exit. The X makes it a dashed line, which is a construction line. And then I can fill it. This guy, we'll just say 0.25. Just fill it here at 5. I'll make this guy. Yeah, I'll keep it like that. It'll be fine. The whole idea is we want this easy to remove. So there, now we have, well, maybe that's a little deep. See, this is the thing when you're designing stuff for the first time. Sometimes you look at something and you're like, yeah, I like how that looks. And then you're like, you know what? No, that's a little too big. In this case, that's a good example. So I'm just going to make that smaller. The idea is we do want this to protect the finish on the case. So, yeah. Hey, MKW. All right. Do I have a 3D printer? Yes, I do, actually. They're behind me. I have a Kodama Trinus that was donated to me by a fan of the show, Keith, also known as Tinkers on Twitter. I have my Ultimaker 2, which was my very first ever machine. And I have the formerly tested.com MakerBot Thingomatic. And then down in the garage, I have a Pia Poly Moai, which is a resin 3D printer. So yes, I do have a couple of 3D printers, actually. Something like some good Dr. Pepper Field streams. Okay, so we can slide our history bar back over. Now we can start tackling this guy, which is going to be a little bit different just in terms of the fact that I'm making it so that it has the belt clip. And why is it calling that the midway point? It's odd. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to set this up as a midplane along that guy right there. Should make it easier for me. 7, 5. Yeah, that looks like a good depth. Because I want, in this case, I want stuff to be a little bit lower than the actual part. 945. Make that 25. Should work. What's the linear distance here? 177. My belt, which you can't see, measures in at 1.5, so yeah, it's probably good enough. You know what? I'll just make this 0.3 or 3125. There we go. Last thing you want to do is have someone with a slightly thicker belt, you know, not be able to wear it. That would be a little bit of a bummer. So yeah, we'll do that. Drag this guy down. Belt is about, we'll just say 1.625. I'm intentionally oversizing this, all these parts, just because I don't want, like I just mentioned, I don't want anything to not fit. That would be a bummer. Yeah, that should be big enough. And we can come down here at the line, 5 it again, and done. And whoops, we can X those guys out. And I'm going to make this guy as well 0.8 inches thick, or 2 millimeters. Gives it a good amount of strength without being ridiculously overkill, I found. And then just close that off. Direction line, that guy. Okay. My belt is, how thick is it? I think I'll just make it about 0.25, because my belt, actually, no, wait, my bad. I'm going to make this a whole length of about 2 inches. No, that's a little big. What did I do on the Tascam? I did 1 inch. Let's do an inch. Okay. So that's how you can build one like that, where you can slide your belt onto it. And obviously, if somebody really wanted to, you could easily take this design and cut that off and make this so it kind of slips onto your belt. But personally, I am not a fan of that. I'm always paranoid that it's going to fall off and I'm going to drop something. And I just don't like worrying about that when I'm wearing something. So just for the sake of visuals, and I figure it adds a little bit of strength, I'm going to come along and throw some minor fillets around these edges here. Never a bad idea. boom, boom, boom. So, yeah. I figure rounded edges always also just looks a little more professional. And as a machinist, we always strive to have no sharp edges, so same rule applies here. Now, the only place that I'm not going to be adding any rounding is probably on this bottom edge right here. So it just makes printing it that much more difficult. You could add it, but nobody's really going to notice because most of the time you have an elephant's foot anyways on the bottom, and nobody's going to be looking there. So let me just throw some nice fillets here and there. There we go. That is looking awesome. So what I'm thinking of doing, if I can find my logo SVG on the computer here, is for my own personal one. Speaking of which, I should probably make another copy of this. I'm gonna upload the files when I'm done. If anybody wants to make their own, they can. I'm gonna see if I can find my logo SVG. So just in case I set the thing down, it has my SVG on it. That would be cool. Pictures. No, no, no. Got it? Perfect. Oh, it's gonna be cool. Scale it. 5. Now, when it comes to doing this, this is strictly for looks on my end, and you obviously do not have to do this on your own. I just happen to have an SVG of my logo flying around, so why not? Hey, that looks pretty cool. Hide back, it's getting in my way. The only thing that I'm thinking I'm going to do differently, I might actually, actually thinking it might print easier if I pull the logo out 10,000ths of an inch. And I'll have to check that in the slicing software, but it should be thin enough, and the fan's going to be running anyways, that it shouldn't be an issue. Now, the only reason why I didn't bump a little teeny tiny portion of the E out right there is that would have just been ridiculously tiny, and well, my print. You know what? I'll just bump it out. My OCD is getting better at me if I don't. Yeah, that'll print. Perfect. So there you have it. That is how you can very quickly and very easily design up something in Fusion 360. Now, mind you, this was a very simple project, but it goes to show that even with a little bit of basic design knowledge, you can come up with something that looks pretty fancy pretty quickly. So the next step for me is when I get my NGen Flex done drawing in about a day or so, I'm going to go ahead and print this guy up, and then we'll go ahead and see how well it works. And hopefully, if all goes well, I'll have it done in time for the Calvin and Jimmy show tomorrow night, which I will actually be hosting, which should be awesome. Let me just label this really fast. Oh, battery pack. Save. Done. So let me just see if I can get Fusion 360 to fire up here to show you guys what it would look like. And yeah, I know it's bigger than the Thingamatics build volume here. Let me switch it over to the Multimaker. Much more like it. So it's probably a little bit hard to see because of the coloring here. Let me see if, there we go. That should stick out better. Yeah, that's better. Hey, thanks for jumping on, Rick. Thanks. This was went way faster than I thought it would, but I figured A, to add a little bit more time to the stream, and B, just because I like labeling my own stuff for the sake of if I lose it. Reason why I added the logo on there, but thanks. It's feels good to be getting back to doing live streaming and doing live designing. Part of my problem is the reason why I usually don't live stream me designing. It's because usually it's at random hours, or I can only design for like a half-hour spurt and then come back later and design some more. So it's not exactly streaming conducive. But if you guys want to see me doing more designing streams, let me know. Hey, what's up, noob? Glad to have people jumping in the chat. Sorry if all of a sudden you guys are jumping in and I'm pretty much done. I'm probably not going to be printing this up today just because I need to finish drying my filament. And the print time on this, let me turn off Raft because I'm not going to be printing it with a Raft. Yeah, the print time on this is about a 5-hour long print because this is going to be done in NGen Flex, so I can't run it very quickly, or I will run into quite a few print quality issues, which obviously I don't want. So trying to minimize my crossing the middle movements, but there's only so much you can do. So I think I'm going to have to call the stream here, guys. I've got a lot of stuff I need to get done off camera, but thanks for swinging by and hanging out, and sorry for those of you who are just jumping on. It was a very fast stream, but then again, something I need, and hopefully my filament dries out enough I can get it going tonight. Ooh, that's a really good idea. Rick just said me and Jimmy should design something on one of our shows. You know what? I might just do that for tomorrow night's stream because I haven't fully thought through of a topic yet, but that would actually be pretty cool. Designing something live on the show and then, you know, going from there. So shoot, I mean, hey, how about this, guys? You guys have an idea for something that you want me to design on the stream. No promises that I'll make it. If you guys have some suggestions, drop them to me on Twitter at Make It With Cal and say, hey, suggestion for the Calvin and Jimmy show, why don't you do blah, blah, blah. And I might just be inspired by it. So I'll leave you guys there. Like I said, I'll keep you posted on when this prints, and I'll definitely shoot a time lapse of it. And see you guys later. Bye-bye.